The rain hammered the tin roof of our family home in Seattle like it was trying to drown out the lie, but nothing could wash away the metallic tang of betrayal on my tongue. My sister Emily's voice cracked over the phone at 2 a.m. "Alex, it's stage 4, pancreatic. I need you." And I believed her because that's what you do for blood, until the hospital records I'd hacked into that afternoon stared back at me like a ghost. Clean bills of health, all of them. In that frozen moment, as thunder rattled the windows and her sobs echoed from the living room where Mom and Dad huddled around her like she was the second coming, I realized family wasn't forged in love. It was a weapon, sharpened on secrets, and mine was about to turn on me. I slammed the front door behind me, the echo swallowed by the storm, my backpack slung over one shoulder with everything I owned crammed inside. A laptop, 3 changes of clothes, and the faded photo of Jordan from last summer's Pride March, his smile a lifeline I hadn't dared to grab yet. "You're choosing her lies over me?" I shouted back into the house, my voice breaking like the waves crashing against Alki Beach just blocks away. But Dad's reply sliced deeper than any gale. "Get out, Alex. We don't need your kind poisoning this family any more than you already have." The door clicked shut, and just like that, at 24, I was adrift in the Pacific Northwest drizzle, the city lights blurring into accusations, wondering if the ache in my chest was heartbreak or the first gasp of freedom. The streets of West Seattle gleamed under sodium lamps, puddles mirroring the chaotic sky as I trudged toward the ferry terminal, my sneakers squelching with every step. Emily's diagnosis had hit like a freight train 2 weeks ago, right after I'd mustered the courage to tell Mom and Dad about Jordan. About us, tentative and real, the kind of love that made my pulse stutter just thinking of his calloused hands from years of bartending. I timed it perfectly, or so I thought. Family dinner at the old Craftsman House on Admiral Way, pot roast simmering, the works. "I'm gay," I'd said, forcing a smile. "And he's amazing. You should meet him." Silence fell thicker than the fog rolling in from Elliott Bay, broken only by Emily's fork clattering against her plate. Then came her bombshell, tears streaming as she clutched her stomach. I was going to wait, but the tests came back today. "Cancer. It's bad." They rallied around her like she was the sun, canceling my plans, my job interviews, everything, to fundraise for treatments. GoFundMe pages popped up overnight, neighbors dropping off casseroles, our extended family wiring checks from as far as Spokane. I played along at first because that's Alex Harlan. The fixer, the good son, the one who patched the roof after Dad's heart scare last year without complaint. But doubt gnawed at me when I saw her scrolling Zillow on her phone during chemo breaks, eyeing beach houses in Baja. A quick dive into her email, password hadn't changed since high school, revealed the truth. Fake doctor's notes from a shady online service, bank transfers to her savings account swelling by thousands. She'd been skimming for months, ever since her latest startup flop left her drowning in credit card debt. Confronting her in the kitchen that rainy afternoon felt like pulling the pin on a grenade. This ends now. Tell them or I will." Her eyes, so like mine, hazel flecked with gold, widened in feigned shock, then narrowed to slits. "You wouldn't dare. After everything I've done for you? Covering for your little flings in high school." Flings. As if Jordan was just another notch. Not the guy who'd stayed up nights teaching me to code, who'd kissed my forehead and whispered, "You're enough, Alex, just as you are." She lunged for my phone, but I yanked it away, dialing Mom right there. "It's a lie, all of it. Check her emails." The fallout was biblical. Dad burst in from the garage, oil-streaked hands balling into fists, his face the color of the storm clouds outside. "You hacked her? Spying on your own sister." Mom sobbed into Emily's shoulder, murmuring prayers I'd only heard at Grandma's funeral. Emily played the victim card masterfully, voice quivering. "He hates me because I'm straight, because I remind him of what he's lost. Ever since he came out, he's been jealous. Twisting everything. Jealous." The word lodged in my throat like barbed wire. I'd spent years tiptoeing around their discomfort, skipping family barbecues when Jordan couldn't come, biting my tongue at Uncle Ray's jokes about that lifestyle. And now this. "You're dead to us?" Dad growled, his voice low and final. The same tone he'd used when firing the gardener who didn't pull his weight. Mom didn't even look at me, her arms wrapped around Emily like a shield. I grabbed my keys, my heart hammering a rhythm of disbelief and rage. Outside, the wind whipped the evergreens into a frenzy, mirroring the chaos in my veins. I drove aimlessly at first, past the familiar landmarks. The coffee shop where Jordan and I had our first awkward date, the park where we'd picnicked under cherry blossoms last spring. My phone buzzed. A text from Jordan. "Hey stranger, miss your face. Dinner tonight?" I almost replied, but what would I say? My family's imploding, and I'm homeless? Come save me? Instead, I pulled into a 24-hour diner on California Avenue, the kind with cracked vinyl booths and waitresses who call you Han. Ordered black coffee and a stack of pancakes I couldn't stomach, staring at the rain-streaked window as memories flooded in. Emily and I as kids, building forts in the backyard, her giggling as I crowned her queen of the mud castle. She'd been my protector once, shoving Tommy Hargrove off me in 3rd grade when he called me a sissy for picking flowers. Where had that sister gone? Buried under student loans and envy, I guessed. The GoFundMe had raised over $20,000 by then, enough for her fantasy escape, not a drop for actual treatment. By dawn, the storm had broken into a misty haze, the city waking with its usual indifferent hum. Joggers pounding pavement, baristas steaming lattes, life marching on without me. I texted Jordan a half-truth. "Rough night. Can I crash at yours?" His reply was instant. "Doors open. Always." Relief washed over me, mingled with shame. Jordan lived in Capitol Hill, that vibrant queer heart of Seattle where rainbow flags fluttered from every balcony and drag brunches spilled laughter onto the sidewalks. It was a world I dipped into but never fully claimed, always glancing over my shoulder for Dad's disapproval. His apartment was a 3rd-floor walk-up in a brick building that smelled of garlic and weed. The walls papered in vintage concert posters. Nirvana, Bowie, icons who'd paved the way for guys like us. He answered the door in boxers and a faded Sounders jersey, hair tousled from sleep, his brown eyes crinkling with concern. "Alex? Jesus, you look like hell." I collapsed into his arms, the dam breaking as sobs racked me. He held me there in the hallway, strong and steady, murmuring nonsense about bad dreams until Mrs. Patel from downstairs banged her broom on the ceiling. Inside, he brewed tea, chamomile, my favorite, and listened without interrupting as I spilled it all. The lie, the confrontation, the disowning. "They called me a poison," I whispered, tracing the scar on his knuckle from a bar fight he'd never talk about. "Like loving you makes me toxic." Jordan set his mug down, cupping my face with hands that smelled of citrus soap. "Hey, their loss is my gain." His kiss was soft, exploratory, tasting of mint and promise. A reminder that not all homes were built of brick and blood. We didn't make love that morning. Instead, he pulled me onto the couch, our legs tangled under a quilt his abuela had sewn, and we talked until the sun climbed high. About his own fractured family. Mom in Portland who'd sent a birthday card last year but skipped Pride. Dad long gone to some oil rig in Alaska. "Family's what you build, not what you're born into," he said, his thumb stroking my wrist. "And ours? It's just getting started." But doubt lingered like the coffee grounds in the sink. What if Emily doubled down? What if the money trail led back to me, the jealous brother who'd fabricated it all? I spent the afternoon on Jordan's laptop, scouring Emily's socials. Posts from chemo days showing her sipping rose at rooftop bars. Captions hashtagged fighter. Rage simmered, but so did a deeper hurt. Why me? Why sacrifice the one who'd always had her back? By evening, as Jordan whipped up stir-fry in his tiny kitchen, humming along to an old Indigo Girls track, I felt the first stirrings of resolve. This wasn't just about her lie. It was about reclaiming my voice, my place. "We expose her," I said finally, plating the food. "Together." He grinned, that lopsided smile that made my stomach flip. "Damn right, but first eat. Heroes need fuel." We clinked forks, the clatter a small rebellion against the silence I'd left behind. Outside, Seattle pulsed with possibility. The hum of the light rail, the distant cry of gulls, the endless rain washing wounds clean. For the first time in days, I breathed easy, Jordan's laughter wrapping around me like a second skin. Little did I know, the real storm was just brewing. Emily's counterattack. A twist that would test every fragile thread of trust we'd woven. The next week blurred into a haze of strategy sessions and stolen moments. Jordan's apartment becoming our war room and sanctuary. Mornings started with coffee on his fire escape, overlooking the eclectic chaos of Capitol Hill. Dog walkers in tutus, street artists chalking murals of intertwined lovers. The air thick with the scent of fresh bagels from the bakery below. "Okay, Sherlock," he'd tease, handing me a mug etched with "World's Okayest Gay." "What's the play?" I'd outline the evidence. Screenshots of her emails, timestamps on the fake medical PDFs, even a Venmo trail to a consultant who'd penned the forgeries for $500. But exposure wasn't simple. It meant dragging the family through the mud, inviting whispers from our tight-knit neighborhood where Dad coached Little League and Mom led the book club. Jordan, ever the pragmatist, suggested starting small. Tip off the GoFundMe admins anonymously. Let the platform pull the plug. It was smart, clean, detached. But as I typed out the report that night, fingers hovering over send, Emily's face from childhood flashed. Her braids flying as we raced bikes down California Avenue. Wind in our faces. Invincible. I hit delete instead. Guilt twisting like a knife. "Can't do it?" I admitted, slumping against him on the bed. His arms encircled me, warm and unyielding. "Then we go bigger. A family intervention. Make them see." Hope flickered, fragile as the candle he lit for Shabbat. Though neither of us were Jewish, it was his nod to roots he'd lost. We drove to the house the following Sunday, the Volvo's wipers batting away drizzle that seemed perpetual in this city of gray skies and greener hearts. The porch light was on, a beacon or a trap, I couldn't tell. Mom answered, her face gaunt, eyes red-rimmed. Real grief or performative? "Alex," she breathed, glancing over her shoulder. "She's resting." Emily, resting on the couch with a heating pad and a tablet, no doubt scrolling vacation rentals. We gathered in the living room, the same space where I'd announced my truth just weeks ago, now heavy with unspoken accusations. Dad perched on the armchair, arms crossed like a fortress. Mom fluttered with tea trays, avoiding my gaze. Jordan sat beside me, his presence a quiet anchor, hand brushing mine under the Afghan. "We need to talk about the fundraiser," I started, voice steadier than I felt. Emily sat up, pale and practiced. "Alex, please. Not now. The pain meds make me foggy." But I laid it out. The documents, the discrepancies, the money funneled to her personal account. "It's fraud, Em. Tens of thousands from people who care. People like Aunt Lisa, who remortgaged her trailer to help." Silence stretched, taut as a bowstring. Then Emily shattered it. "He's lying. All of it. To sabotage me because I wouldn't lie for him." "Lie for me?" My blood ran cold. "What?" She leaned forward, venom in her whisper. "Your little boyfriend?" I told Mom and Dad about the texts, the ones from that guy in college, the affair. Said you were cheating on Jordan to test if you were really gay. They were heartbroken, Alex. "I fixed it for you." Fixed it. The word curdled. She'd outed me piecemeal over years, planting doubts, turning my vulnerability into ammunition. Jordan's grip tightened, his jaw set, but he stayed silent, letting me steer. Dad exploded first. "Enough. You waltz in here with your lifestyle, accusing your sister of God knows. After she covered your sins." Sins. The Bible on the mantel seemed to loom larger, its pages dog-eared from Mom's devotions. "She's dying, Alex. And you're just angry at the world for making you this way. This way." As if my love for Jordan, the late-night confessions over whiskey, the way he traced constellations on my back, was a defect, not a gift. Mom nodded faintly, tears spilling. "We can't lose her too. Not like we almost lost you to that." Jordan cleared his throat, voice even. "With respect, Mr. Harlan, Alex isn't the one deceiving you. Check the accounts. It's all there." He slid printouts across the coffee table, evidence stark against the floral runner. Emily snatched them, crumpling one in fury. Fake. He photoshopped them. Jordan helped, probably, to get back at us for not approving of their relationship. The room tilted, betrayal layering upon betrayal. They'd never met Jordan properly, just side-eyed him at that one awkward Thanksgiving. But now he was the villain in her script. I stood, legs unsteady. Believe what you want. But when the truth outs, and it will, remember who tried to save you from it. We left to the sound of Emily's wails. Mom's pleas chasing us into the rain. In the car, Jordan drove, one hand on the wheel, the other finding mine. You okay? He asked, voice rough. No, I admitted, staring at the wiper's rhythm. But I will be. With you. He pulled over near Gas Works Park, the old gasification plant skeletons silhouetted against the bay, and kissed me fiercely, rain pattering on the roof like applause. It was messy, desperate. A clash of lips and salt, affirming that amid the wreckage, we were solid. Back in Capitol Hill, we drowned the evening in takeout pho and a bootleg screening of Brokeback Mountain. Ironic, healing. But sleep evaded me, Emily's words echoing. I fixed it for you. Fixed. As if I were broken. Dawn brought a call from an unknown number. The GoFundMe support line. Despite my hesitation, someone had reported it. Anonymous. Efficient. The page was frozen. Donations refunded pending investigation. Panic surged. Emily would know and she'd point straight at me. She did, that afternoon, via a blistering voicemail. You bastard. Mom's in the ER stress, the doctor said. This is on you. My hands shook as I played it for Jordan, his face darkening. She's weaponizing their health now? We go public. Public. The word thrilled and terrified. I posted a thread on Reddit's r/Seattle, vague enough to protect identities, detailed enough to warn. Family fraud alert. Sister faked cancer for cash. Parents enabling. MA if brave. It blew up overnight, upvotes and DMs flooding in. Stories of similar scams. Offers of legal advice. Even a pro bono lawyer from a queer advocacy group. But the real backlash hit at work. I'd landed a junior dev gig at a startup in South Lake Union, coding apps for sustainable fisheries. Ironic, given how adrift I felt. Monday morning, HR called me in, social media policy violation, Alex, and complaints from family contacts. Emily had emailed them, screenshots of my post twisted to paint me as unstable, vengeful. We have to let you go. Fired. For truth-telling. I cleaned out my desk in a daze, badge beeping its final farewell. Jordan met me outside, thermos of soup in hand. Screw them. We'll pivot. Pivot. His optimism was infectious, pulling me into a walk along the waterfront. Ferries chugging toward Bainbridge, gulls wheeling overhead. Remember our first date? He asked, stopping at the Ferris wheel. You spilled wine on my lap, laughed it off like it was choreography. I did remember. The nerves, the spark when our eyes met across the crowded bistro. Yeah, best mess ever. We rode the wheel that day, the pod swinging gently as Seattle sprawled below. Space needle-piercing clouds, Puget Sound shimmering. Up there, suspended, the world's weight lifted. Marry me? He joked, or half-joked, slipping a gum wrapper ring onto my finger. Laughter bubbled up, real and rare. In a heartbeat. But reality crashed back that night. Dad's truck in the apartment lot, impossible. He stood in the hallway, soaked, face etched with exhaustion. We need to talk. Alone. Jordan squeezed my shoulder, retreating to the kitchen. Dad's eyes flicked to the pride sticker on the fridge, discomfort evident. Emily confessed. The money, it's gone. Spent. Spent. On what? A down payment, he muttered. On a life she deserved. Deserved. My fists clenched. And me? I get disowned for loving honestly? He deflated, shoulders sagging. I was wrong. Scared. But she's family. Family. The word, once sacred, now hollow. He left with a stiff hug, a check for $5,000. For a start. And a plea. Forgive her. Forgive us. Door shut. I slid down the wall, Jordan pulling me close. Forgiveness? Not yet. But the crack in the door, the possibility, stirred something human, resilient. As sirens wailed distant in the night, I held him tighter, our heartbeats sinking to the city's pulse. The betrayal cut deep, but in its scar, love was carving a new path. The check burned a hole in my wallet, a tainted olive branch I cashed anyway. Rent was due, and Jordan's freelance graphic design gigs barely covered the utilities. We pooled it with my severance, turning the apartment into a makeshift office. Whiteboards scrawled with job leads, his sketches of app interfaces mingling with my code snippets. Team Harlan Morales, he dubbed us, taping a sign above the desk with doodled rings intertwined. It was corny, but it stuck, a badge of our chosen tribe. Evenings, we'd wander Pike Place Market, tossing coins into the gum wall for luck, stealing kisses amid the fishmongers' shouts and flower stalls bursting with dahlias. Seattle's queer scene embraced us. Game nights at the strangers' offices, volunteer shifts at the LGBTQ+ center where Jordan taught digital art to runaways, and I debugged their donor database. Yet Emily's shadow loomed. News trickled in via mutual friends. Whispers on Nextdoor about the poor Harlan girl, whose miraculous recovery coincided with the scam's unraveling. She'd vanished from socials, reportedly crashing with a cousin in Tacoma. The refunded donations clawing back like vengeful tides. Mom texted sporadically, "Praying for you both." Church picnic Sunday? No mention of apology, just invitations laced with normalcy, as if the fracture hadn't happened. I ignored them, but each ping chipped at the walls I'd built. Jordan noticed, pulling me aside after a particularly terse exchange. "You're not poison, Alex. Don't let them convince you otherwise." His words, simple and sure, anchored me. That night, we slow danced in the living room to Tracy Chapman, his chin on my shoulder, body swaying to Fast Car. A song about escape, reinvention. Work prospects brightened mid-month. A callback from a tech firm in Belltown, coding for a non-profit tracking climate refugees. The interview was virtual, my reflection in the webcam pale but determined. "Tell us why you're passionate," the panelist prompted. I paused, then, "Because I've been displaced, by choice, by force, and I know what it costs to start over. They hired me on the spot, salary modest but benefits solid, including partner coverage." Jordan hooped when I told him, scooping me into a spin that ended with us tangled on the rug, breathless and grinning. Dinner out. My treat. We chose a hole in the wall in the International District, dim some steaming between us, lanterns casting golden halos. Over Hargao, he grew serious. "I meant it, you know? The ring thing. Not tomorrow, but someday. Someday." The word bloomed warm in my chest, a future sketched in possibility. But climax brewed on the home front. A package arrived unannounced. Emily's handwriting on the label, postmarked Tacoma. Inside, a shoebox of relics, our childhood Polaroids, her high school yearbook with my Sharpa-doodles in the margins, a letter folded crisp. "Alex, I fucked up. Bad. The money was for a fresh start, away from the failures, but I dragged you all down. Mom and Dad, they blame themselves more than me. Come see? No apology for the lies, the betrayal, just a summons." I stared at it for hours, Jordan reading over my shoulder. "Trap?" he ventured. "Or genuine?" Genuine Emily was messy, impulsive. The girl who dyed our dogs fur pink for Halloween. Consequences be damned. Against better judgment, I drove south alone. The I-5 corridor a ribbon of evergreens and overpasses. Radio humming indie folk that mirrored my mood. Tacoma's sprawl felt grittier than Seattle's polish. Rusting mills by the sound, murals of salmon leaping defiantly. Her cousin's place was a duplex off Pacific Avenue, chain-link fence sagging, porch cluttered with lawn chairs. She answered in sweats, hair unwashed, the fight drained from her eyes. "You came." We sat on the sagging couch, herbal tea steaming untouched. "Why?" I asked, voice raw. "The cancer thing. Why me? Why not just ask for help?" She picked at a cuticle, avoiding my gaze. "Because you're the strong one. Always were. I envied it, how you built this life with Jordan, no regrets. Me? One flop after another. The blog that tanked, the Etsy shop of custom jewelry no one bought. Mom and Dad doted, but it was pity. Faking it. It made me real to them. Needed. Her tears came then, hot and unfiltered. And outing you? That was low. I was scared you'd eclipse me, the perfect son with the perfect love. So I twisted it, made you the villain to keep the spotlight. Villain. The word echoed Dad's. But here, in her cracked voice, it humanized her. Flawed, not monstrous. You almost destroyed me, I said, throat tight. They disowned me, for calling you out. She nodded, wiping her nose on her sleeve. I know. And the money? Half's gone on dumb shit. Flights I never took. Clothes for a life I don't have. The rest, I can pay back. Slowly. A pause. Heavy. Forgive me. Forgiveness wasn't a switch, but seeing her stripped bare, I glimpsed the sister beneath the schemer. Maybe, in time, but you tell them the whole truth. No more fixes. We hugged then, awkward and fierce, the kind that mends more than it hurts. Driving back, the sun broke through clouds, gilding the Narrows Bridge in light. I called Jordan from a viewpoint, waves crashing below. It's complicated, but progress. He laughed, relief evident. That's my guy. Pizza when you get home. Home, yes. The real storm hit 2 days later, a Friday evening thick with summer promise. Long days yielding to balmy nights. Jordan and I were at a block party in Capitol Hill, strings of bulbs swaying overhead, grill smoke mingling with laughter. Queer elders swapped stories of Stonewall, kids chased bubbles painted rainbow, and we danced to a DJ spinning RuPaul anthems. My phone buzzed mid-twirl, Mom. Emergency. Dad collapsed. Harborview. Come. Hard in throat, we raced across town. Traffic a snarl of red taillights, my mind spinning worst cases. Harborview's ER was a fluorescent purgatory. Beeping monitors, weary faces, the sharp scent of antiseptic. Mom paced the waiting room, Emily beside her, united in fear. Heart attack, Mom whispered, clutching a styrofoam cup. Stress, the doctor said. From everything. Everything. The lie, the refunds, the unraveling. Dad was stable in ICU, but the weight of it crushed. We took shifts. Jordan fetching vending machine snacks, Emily and I flanking Mom in silence. At midnight, she broke. We failed you both. Believed the wrong story. Emily squeezed her hand. My fault. Confessed all of it. The fakes, the jealousy. Alex tried to save us. Dawn crept in, pale light filtering through blinds. Dad woke groggy, tubes snaking from his arm, eyes finding mine first. Son. One word. Laden. I'm sorry. For the disowning. For not seeing you. Seeing me. Tears pricked. I nodded, throat too full for speech. Jordan stood sentinel by the door, his nod imperceptible but affirming. No grand speeches, just presence, a fragile bridge rebuilding plank by plank. Discharge came midweek, Dad homebound with meds and monitors. Emily stayed to help, her recovery now genuine penance. Cooking low-sodium meals, sorting finances. I visited sparingly, testing waters. Dinners where Jordan joined, conversations skirting edges of acceptance. He's good for you, Dad grunted one night, over reheated lasagna. Progress, incremental. But betrayal's echo lingered, a undercurrent in quiet moments. One evening, post-shift at the nonprofit, I found Jordan on the fire escape, staring at the city lights. Penny, I teased, settling beside him. He turned, eyes shadowed. Got a call from my mom. Saw the Reddit post, recognized the story. Wants to meet. Says she's proud. Proud. His voice cracked. I pulled him close. The skyline a constellation of second chances. Go. We'll go. Together. In his exhale, I felt it. The climax cresting, not in destruction, but rebirth. Fall draped Seattle in amber and rust. Leaves skittering across California Anderson Park like whispered secrets as Jordan and I navigated our mending worlds. My job at the climate nonprofit bloomed into purpose. Mapping migration patterns, voices of the displaced echoing my own. Jordan's designs caught an agency's eye, landing a contract for a queer youth campaign. Bold graphics of hands clasped across divides. Tagline, build what breaks. Emily, meanwhile, enrolled in community college. Accounting, ironic redemption. Commuting from a shared rental in Ballard, her apologies evolving from words to actions. Weekly coffees where she'd listen, really listen, to the scars she'd inflicted. Family dinners resumed, tentative rituals at the old house. Dad's health steadied, his recliner throne now angled toward the window for birdwatching. A hobby unearthed in recovery, spotting juncos and finches with boyish glee. Mom baked again, apple pies laced with less sugar, more stories of her own youth. A closeted crush on her college roommate, buried under convention. I see you now, Alex, she'd say, passing the whipped cream, her hand lingering on mine. Jordan fit in haltingly. Charming dad with Mariners trivia, winning mom with garden tips. But the ease grew, organic as the ferns unfurling in our backyard. Yet conflict simmered beneath the surface, a final betrayal's aftershock. It erupted at Thanksgiving, the table groaning under turkey and fixings. Extended kin gathered from afar. Emily arrived late, flushed with news. Got a partial scholarship, and a boyfriend. The word hung, then landed softly as she introduced Nate. A quiet engineer with kind eyes and a nervous laugh. Toasts followed, but midway through pie, Dad pulled me aside in the den. Proud of her turnaround. Like you. But his glance at Jordan held a flicker, residual unease, or projection of his own regrets. The bomb dropped post-meal as dishes clattered. Emily cornered me by the sink, voice low. Found something in Dad's desk, old letters. From you to that college guy. The one I mentioned. My stomach dropped. What? She kept copies, backups of her sabotage, and now, why tell me? Nate saw them. Pushed me to come clean fully. To you, to them. About twisting your past to make my lie stick. Fully. The room spun. I gripped the counter, visions of those frantic emails from sophomore year. Raw confessions I'd burned after. You held onto them? For what? Insurance. Her face crumpled. Fear. Of losing control. But Nate, he makes me want better. Better. The word, once weapon, now olive branch. I stormed out. Rain-slicked yard my refuge. Jordan finding me under the gazebo. Coat draped over my shoulders. She told. Everything. He listened, fury flashing, then softening. Your call, babe. Burn it down or build higher. Build higher. Always. The confrontation came Christmas Eve. Snow dusting the evergreens. A rarity in Seattle, magic in white. We gathered sans gifts. Just truth in the firelit living room. Emily laid it bare. The letters, the manipulations, her jealousy-fueled sabotage. I weaponized his vulnerability to shield my lies, she said, voice steady. Dad's face thunderous. Mom's hand to mouth. Why, Emily? After all he's endured. For being gay, for loving openly in a house of half-shadows. She met my eyes. Because I was lost and he was found. In you, Alex, in Jordan, I saw what I couldn't be. Forgiven? I don't deserve it. But I'll earn it. Earn it. Silence stretched, broken by Dad's rasp. We all failed. Me most, picking sides like it was football. He turned to me, eyes wet. Son, you're no poison. You're the light we dimmed. Marry that boy. Invite us. Marry. The word hung, invitation and absolution. Jordan, beside me, squeezed my knee. Later, under mistletoe in the hall. Tacky plastic, but tradition. He whispered, some days today if you want. I nodded, tears blurring his face. Yes. Spring thawed the last ice, our wedding small but seismic. A hillside ceremony at Discovery Park. Waves crashing as vows exchanged. Jordan in a linen suit the color of sea glass. Me in navy, wildflowers in our lapels. Emily stood as witness, her toast halting. To brothers who forgive, and loves that endure. Mom and Dad in the front row, hands clasped, pride evident in their smiles. No longer strained. Nate beside her, a quiet ally. The reception spilled into a beach bonfire. guitars strumming folk tunes, stars pricking the velvet sky. As flames danced, Jordan pulled me aside, ring glinting. Real this time, white gold etched with coordinates of our first kiss. To us, he murmured, forehead to mine. Built from betrayal's rubble, humanistic in its hope. Not erasure of pain, but alchemy into grace. Months later, Emily graduated, cap tassel swinging as she hugged me fierce. Thank you for seeing me still. I did. Family redefined, not flawless, but fierce. In Seattle's endless rain, we bloomed. Jordan and I adopting a rescue mutt named Echo. Dad joining a PFLAG chapter. Mom planting a pride garden of irises and lavender. Betrayal's scar faded to silver. A reminder that love, true and chosen, mends what blood breaks. And in quiet nights, tangled in sheets with Jordan's breath steady against my neck, I whispered gratitude to the storm that had cleared the way. For in losing a family, I'd found my own, deeper, truer, eternal.